Whenever you are ready.
You ever wanted to learn a new skill? Maybe like juggling?
Yes.
I'm going to show you how. The first thing to note is that juggling is not like this circle thing that you see in cartoons. They used to animate it that way because it was easier to animate, but since then they've just kind of kept that trend. The normal way of juggling is this. This is called cascade. The circle juggling is a trick that you can do called shower, which I can't do full shower, I can do half shower, which is like this. But I can't do full shower yet. So to learn how to juggle, you start off with just one ball, and you're going to look for two X's here and here. Imagine two X's, and you're going to try to hit those X's and come right back down. You don't want a big arch like this. You want to hit the X, come straight down. And once you feel comfortable with that, you can move on to your second ball. So the pattern for this is going to be toss, toss, catch, catch. You're going to toss, toss, catch, catch. Toss, toss, catch, catch. Whenever the first one hits the top, the peak, that's where you want to start throwing the second one. So when it hits the peak, toss. Just like that. And it doesn't have to be exactly on those X's as long as it's pretty close. So after you get that, you're going to want to add a clap in the center to simulate adding a third ball. So you're going to go toss, toss, clap, catch, catch. Toss, toss, clap, catch, catch. Because that's going to add the timing in without actually adding the third one in. Once you feel good with that, you're going to add the third ball. And do not worry about catching them yet. You're just going to toss, toss, toss. And they should land roughly where your hands are. If they roll away a little bit, that's okay, as long as they immediately landed in the right spot. And you're going to practice that on, both sides, because in juggling you always need to practice on both sides. Once you feel pretty comfortable with that, you can do just the 3 balls and go toss, 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 and catch all 3 of them on both sides, always both sides. And then once you feel comfortable with that, that's when you can move on to doing all 3 of them. So remember, once it hits that peak, that's when you toss the next one. You know, toss, toss, toss. You can just keep going as peak comes. It's going to take a lot of practice. Nobody's able to do it on their first try. It took me about 3 months to get a really solid cascade, and then half shower and half column on each hand. And I'm going to be honest with you, you might not like juggling before you can do those. Those are like the 3 basic tricks. You might not like juggling before you can do those. I didn't. But then once I could learn those and I was able to move on to harder tricks, I started enjoying them a lot more. So that's really fun. But some of the history of juggling is, the first evidence of it is from about 4,000 years ago. They found pictures of jugglers, mostly women. So what we expect is that it was mostly women juggling, and this is according to topendsports.com. We mostly started off as women juggling, and they would also dance and do other entertainment during performances. And then from there, men started to kind of take over it a little bit more, started using a little bit more according to juggling.org. And from there, men started adding it to vaudeville shows, and from there into the circus when they started that. And so that's where we come to today, having it in the circus alongside things like the Diablo or Chinese yo-yo, which I won't be doing today because I don't have the time to show all of it. But that's where juggling kind of started, and that is also juggle.org, which is different from juggling.org. It talks about the vaudeville into the circus. So once you get really good at juggling 3 balls, you can, work on getting it higher, lower, and you can do more tricks with it, like overhand cascade, half shower, ping pong. The other thing is you're going to drop a lot. It's going to happen. Nobody's perfect. I've talked to a lot of jugglers, like Tony Pezzo, the president of the World Clown Association, his son. They all drop. Everybody always has the ability to drop. You're never immune to dropping, even on the simple tricks. But from there you can learn a whole bunch of tricks. So like some of the tricks that I'm working on right now are like half box, or 4-4-1 is another name for it. Drop. And then factory, drop.
Wow.
Those are difficult, and then I'm also teaching myself Mills Mess. Not very good at that one yet.
Whoa, not very good.
But once you're able to do juggling balls really well, you can move on to juggling rings. And a lot of tricks transfer over, so like half shower or ping pong. And then if you can do that, you can move on to juggling clubs. And a lot of the techniques to learning how to do it are very similar. You can transfer it between a lot of things. I'm not great at juggling clubs, but I can do it. With juggling clubs, the tricks don't really transfer over as well. Some of them do, but it also is a lot more difficult to get them to transfer over. So like I can't really do any tricks other than just the cascade with juggling clubs. But like there are the people in my circus troupe who can juggle for like 10 minutes on a roll juggling clubs. Crazy. But yeah, that's where you can start learning juggling, some of the history of juggling, and some tricks that you can do and ways that you can move on.
That's totally cool.
I feel like the rings would be easier.